Welcome to another episode on the Tommy Young Show. There are going to be two segments from this episode. One is about this gentleman's business and the career that he chose being an entrepreneur, and he does have a unique job that very few have. The second episode is going to be a huge tragedy that happened in his family that he was willing to pour out his heart on what he went through and his family went through. But just like a book, and just like a show, you're going to need to watch the first episode for the second episode to make sense. And the first episode does bleed into a little bit of what happened in their family as the tragedy. Welcome, Quest Flesner, to the Tommy Young Show. Stay tuned. Another episode is coming up. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Tommy Young Show. You do the auctioneering thing. So here's my auctioning. You ready? But then you got a point, right?
Yeah. You got to take bids. So you've got money, and then you're asking for the next increment of money. And in our profession, the increment is a number, and then in between the number, you use words that roll off the tongue and can pop and sound like you're just wiggling your tongue or your lips, but it's actually words in between there. And you have to do it in a timely manner to create urgency. Because you don't want an auction to last all day, and you want people to bid. There's many times people will tell me afterwards, I had no intentions of coming here and buying anything, but the chant was what we call the chant was so beautiful, and you were so enticing on persistence, so we bought stuff today that we really didn't need. So that's when you know you did a good job as an auctioneer.
Wow. So you have a sentence in there that you're talking about as you're going through this, and it's just the same thing, but you're talking really, really fast, right? I mean, I talk fast, but...
Yeah, it's just the way the words roll off. The big thing in the industry is dollar bidder down here. A lot of people use that. Okay. And then when you roll it, and then dollar bidder down here, it sounds like you're just rolling the tongue. Sometimes I'll use... like a white-tailed deer, like a deer, and people think you're saying something completely different. There's just words in there that work great, and sometimes they don't work great with certain numbers. 7 is a really hard number, and 6 is a real hard number to make sound good. Okay. But 8 and 9, there's just different ways, and everybody has a different technique and a different chant. So it is a beautiful thing if you get a chance to watch an auctioneer competition, to see 30 or 40 auctioneers, and everybody's different. And that is the beauty of it. That is the way the world is so beautiful, because everybody's a little different. And you can have 3 or 5 judges judging the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship, and you can do it on a Monday, have the competition, 30 of the best in the world, and then turn around and have the same competition Tuesday and change all 5 judges, and you'll have a different winner, because everybody likes something different. You know what I mean? You like something different than I'll like, I guarantee it. Everybody has their own taste of what they like, the speed, the clarity, what filler words that sound attractive to them. It's all different. But at the end of the day, in order to win one of them, it ain't so much the chant, it's the clarity and knowing what you're selling and what it's worth. And the professionalism and how you present yourself in front of people, whether you're slouched over, set up, real professional. Yeah. Make yourself welcoming to want to bid. At the end of the day, the guy that has those techniques is going to win a competition and do quite well, and it's kind of a dying thing. Unfortunately, the auctioneer business is. COVID kind of, wouldn't say ruined it, but COVID kind of put a clip on it, because everybody just went to a live sale. And now you get people that own auction companies that are auctioneers that have never auctioned in front of people before, because they just use a computer, and that takes all the fun out of it, in my opinion. And it's easy. It's easy in this industry to get. I will tell people that if they're bidding online, whether it is an estate sale or a cattle sale, know what you're doing and talk to the people that are selling, because it's a good way to get burned, I will say, buying online. I would highly recommend somebody look into what they're buying, especially when you're spending 150 to 200,000. If you can't see it and you're just going off some pictures,
Yep.
and you're spending a pile of money, I don't know how people do it. If I can't see it and I can't feel it and I can't see it with my own eyes, I won't bid on it. And I know there's a lot of older gentlemen that are that way, but this younger generation, they act like money is just grows on trees. And if I'm going to make a major purchase, the live auction method of marketing is the best way to market anything. Now, I'm not saying, in my opinion, since COVID, I have changed my thought on what I do when we have like a firearm sale or an estate sale. I'll have online bidding and have a live auction. So if they can't make the sale, or they're worried about coming down with something, if they've had chemo or something, and they say, well, I don't want to get out and take a chance of getting sick, anything like that, or they just can't make it, or they don't want to travel, they can bid online, and I'm fine with that. That's great, but you still have to have the live auction, because that's how you get top dollar. True price discovery is in the live auction method of marketing.
Because they're seeing it, right?
They're seeing it, and then they see who's bidding against them. A lot of times where I just come from, today, for an example, I was buying cattle for a customer of mine, and the gentleman that is a large order buyer here in the Midwest was there and saw me bidding and doesn't much care for me bidding on the same cattle as he's wanting to buy. So them steers were worth $210, maybe $215 a pound, and today they brought $219 because he was just more aggressive because he saw who was bidding. It's no different. You go to an equipment sale or a land sale and you want your neighbor's property, but your neighbor also wants your neighbor's property, and you go and you see some people, but there's just competition there. And that's my way of looking at it.
So I've heard it too, where they send somebody else to do the bidding because they know they're going to have an issue with, if they are the ones bidding it, everybody's going to put them down and drive up the sale, and then leave them stuck. I mean, and you do mainly livestock stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty much what you do.
That's what we call an order buyer. When somebody shows up on behalf of somebody else to buy something, such as myself, I show up to buy cattle for somebody else that day. That's what they call an order buyer.
Okay, so you're in there buying for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So what does it take to be an auctioneer? I mean,
you got to have people skills. I mean, you've got to have people skills. And
oh, come on, is this going to do it?
It might. It'll help.
It'll help.
Yeah.
Will that do it?
That might get it done.
That might get it done. All right.
Get it done.
I might be onto something then, right?
Yeah, you very well could be. Yeah. It sure helps sell it when there's somebody in a cowboy hat.
It does?
Oh, I think it does, people.
Especially with livestock, right?
Yeah. That is no kidding. There's no kidding to that. Yep.
Do you enjoy it? I mean, you love what you're doing, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's what you have. Is this what you've always done?
Oh, no. I did this in, Lord, what was it? I think the fall of 17.
Okay.
The summer, Jamie Oberlin, which owns Adams County Livestock, which is a big order buying company, and a guy that buys a lot of cattle and been in it his whole life over in Payson, Illinois. He told me, he goes, I think he'd be a good auctioneer. And I said, yeah. And I was working in Heimer, Hampshire, and we were raising show pigs. And I said, I don't think so. He goes, no, you're good in front of people. You're comfortable. You can talk, and you can sell anything. He goes, go to auctioneer school, and they pushed me to go. And I went, and I paid my money, and went for like 9 days, and met some incredible people, really good people I'm still friends with today. There's about 100 of us in the class, and it was an absolute blast. And then I would say out of 100 roughly in that class, maybe 6 of them still use it. A lot of them just go and don't ever use it again. And I was determined at that time, it was I want to say $1,100, plus you had 8 or 9 nights in a hotel room. That was a lot of money to me. In 2017, that was a lot of money to me. And I was determined. I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to spend this money and just mess it away. Put it frankly, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to put it to use. And I will tell you that at the end of the day, the only reason I am where I'm at and has been as good as I've been is probably my parents. I really think that an individual is as good as their parents push them, and my dad taught me good work ethics, and then my wife. I got back from auctioneer school, and we went to a gun sale in Palmyra, Missouri, and I was sitting there with my brother-in-law and my wife, and the auctioneer got up and said, I got to go take a leak. I'm leaving. And he said, I'll be back in 10 minutes unless somebody else wants to sell this. And my wife says, get up there and sell that. And I said, I'm not getting up there. And she goes, my husband, he's an auctioneer. He'll do it. And he goes, oh, good, just get on up in there. And I thought that's how it started. And I was so uncomfortable. It was unbelievable how uncomfortable I was. I think there's still a video of me floating around doing that day. And that was... I cringe at the sound of that day I got up there, but that's how it started. And then that guy asked me to come back, and I just got started that way and worked my way up. And then every little bit, I just didn't like what I heard, and I didn't like what I heard, so I would change my chant and change it, and I'm still not happy today with it. I like to change it still to this day just to make it sound interesting. You can always be better. You can always make yourself better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. But I think I heard you chanting on the phone with a telemarketer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you sounded great.
Oh, it was, yeah. It all sounds good when they're trying to sell you something. Yeah. Yeah, if they had the audacity to wake me up at 7:30 in the morning trying to scam me into something on a DirecTV deal, I thought I'd have some fun with it.
It wasn't a car warranty?
No, it wasn't car warranty. That was last week. No, it was... Somebody thought they had a slick one, and I told my wife, I said, I'm up and feeling good. I said, I'm going to go to the couch and see how long this can last.
How'd that conversation go then?
Oh, they were asking me what kind of TV I had, and then, and then they asked me how many boxes I had, and I said, well, I got 2, and no, I got 2. I don't know what I have. I said, just bear with me here. I said, and that'll better not hear now 3. Oh, that'll better get a better 4. I got 5 and 5 and 6. I got 6 TVs. I've got 6 TVs sold. I got 6 TVs. And the guy goes, 6 Oh, that very good, very good, very good. We give low price per TV. And then when you hear 6 TVs and you're trying to sell somebody she was really enticed then. She asked me who my carrier was. And I told her, I said, it's Yellowstone. I said, it's the Yellowstone. And she goes, no, Dish or Direct? And I said, no, it's the Yellowstone. And she goes, well, let me get your name. I said, it's Beth Dutton. And at that point, I think she was starting to pick up on it. She was in a foreign country where she didn't keep up on American TV.
No, right.
And I thought, dear Lord. No, yeah, that was a fun morning sitting on my couch in front of the TV at 7:30, and my wife comes outside and says, what are you doing? I said, I've got plenty of time today. I don't have to be anywhere till 9:30. I said, I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee and see how long this will last.
You don't always have that time, though, right? I mean, you're go constantly, and traveling, all kinds of things going on with this, right?
Especially March, yeah.
March?
Yeah,
so
March is crazy.
So you travel, I mean, is that for the auctioneering side? What is that?
Yeah, the auctioneering. March is always busy in the beginning of April. Bull sales and purebred hog sales and equipment sales. Everything's really busy right now, and everybody wants to have a sale in the beginning of March and tax season, end of March, beginning of April. So, March is always busy. You really got to take care of your voice in March. So,
how do you take care of your voice? What does that look like? Drink plenty of water? I mean,
just be careful of what you, kind of what you consume and what you eat. You kind of need to eat healthy and kind of take care of your body because you're asking a lot out of it to travel and then sit there all day. You need to get plenty of sleep if you can, which is a very hard thing for me to do. Me personally, last year I gave up pretty well. Cold turkey gave up chewing tobacco because it was so hard on my throat. Your throat is, at the end of the day, is hot and it's stretched out. It's scratchy, and a lot of times at these sales where we're selling livestock, it's dusty, and you're inhaling that at 1,000,000 mile an hour versus the normal guy sitting up there just nicely breathing. You're huffing and puffing, and you get that in your throat, and then you're just rubbing it like sandpaper, and it's no good. So you really got to take care of your voice and learn not to scream and yell. And when you're trying to work cattle or you're at home trying to do something, you just try to take care of your voice best you can, because that's how you make. That's how you can make really good money. In March, it's a big money month when you're getting paid on some of these sales. Pretty good money. They're paying you a good fee. You want to make sure. And when you commit to a sale, it's not like 2 or 3 days before you can call and say I can't be there. You can't leave them hanging. That's not no way to do business.
Wow. So you're actually traveling doing this for a business. I mean, this is your business. You travel. I think the last time I saw you You said what? You were without sleep for 28 hours? I mean, gee whiz.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty common. That was me going out west to drop some cattle off in a truck and then coming back and went 601 miles out, 601 miles back, and then got back and fed hay and then went to my accountant and walked in there, and that's when I saw you. And I told you, I said, I drove 1,200 plus miles and haven't been to sleep yet. And that's I wouldn't say a good trait, but it's I have a good work ethic. I'm not afraid to work hard if you can tell me I can pay my bills and make a good living and leave something better for my kids and my family. And, I'd like to be debt free by the age of 40, So yeah, if you tell me I got to work hard, put in some hours, I'm perfectly good with that. I worked at Prairie Farms for 4 years on nights and then auctioneered during the day. And I would get off at sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning, but most times 6, 7 in the morning, and then go to a sale that either started at 9 or 10, or get in a truck and drive 2 hours to Fairview, Illinois, and pull in their driveway at 9:30 and take a 15-minute nap in my truck, and then auctioneer their sale, get done at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, drive 2 hours back and punch back in and go back to work that night at Prairie Farms. And then maybe the next day, if you didn't have to go to Green City, you could get some sleep. But normally, Monday and Tuesday were very excruciating. You go in Sunday night, you auctioneer Monday in hopes that you got 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep, auctioneer, and then maybe take an hour nap in their truck or go home and take a nap on the couch and then go back to Prairie Farms and then punch out and go to Fairview. And I did that for a solid 3 years, auctioneering and then working nights, and I was burning the candle at both ends pretty hard. I'm glad I'm past that.
So were you doing it because you enjoyed it? I mean, you obviously love the auctioneering side too, right? I mean, It is.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's fast paced, and that's how I'm wired. I'm wired when I sit down. I like to go, and I love it. I really do, and I love cattle, and I love stock. I love livestock, and that's what I went to college for, and that's what I wanted to do. But I wasn't gifted with hundreds of acres, so I'm doing what I can to get as close to it as I can. I love auctioneering, and I love seeing what people will pay for something. What they'll do, and so yeah, I love it. But it also pays a lot of bills too. It's good money, and you're not. I mean, it's excruciating for your brain when you're done selling for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know how to describe it to you. It's not like physical labor. It's just different. And I'm not saying it's any harder or anything like that for somebody that puts in a hard day roofing or pouring concrete. I'm just saying when you get in a truck and you've sold for just 4 or 5 hours, running them numbers through your head so quick and trying not to make mistakes and trying to remember who wants what kind of cattle or who buys what kind of item. I mean, it's when you get in, you're just exhausted. You just feel like you're drained. I really don't know how to describe it to you. It is a different kind of exhaustion to get done with the sale all day. You're just drained. But
when I saw you, I mean, do you drink coffee?
Oh yeah, black coffee a lot. Yep.
Like gallons of it? I mean,
no. But I'll drink. There's nothing better than waking up at 6 in the morning, 6:30, and having a 12-ounce cup of black coffee, just black. And then in the afternoon, I actually like it now. After dinner, if I get done eating at night, I don't mind coffee at night.
Does that keep you up?
No.
Doesn't touch you?
I don't think so. No, if it does, I wouldn't know it. I mean, I go to sleep instantly. Maybe it's because I'm sleep deprived, but yeah, I like something warm in the morning. It's good on your throat, and I like taste of good black coffee.
Yeah.
Not 18 things in it. That's just not how I am. And my wife likes to put everything in hers, caramel and sugar and everything. And I told her, I said, if I wanted milk, I would have ordered it. I said, give me a black coffee.
Oh, yeah. Strong enough you can put a fork or knife through it, right? I mean, it's got to be strong,
Cut
right?
it like butter.
Yeah, cut it like butter. So you were talking about your doing it for your family, married, kids.
Yep. I'm married, and we've had 2 children. I've got a son that's 7 months old. I think tomorrow. He's 7 months old tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we had my daughter, and she passed away at 18 months roughly of age in September 6th of 2021. So we've had 2 children, and we'd like to have, I've told my wife I'd like to have 4, or 5, something like that. it's a scary world to have a child these days. And I mean, I sit back. We're blessed that we're in a pretty good state and a pretty good area here where there's still good people. But you look at what happens out west and in the big cities. I mean, it's a scary thing to bring a child into the world right now, the way it's going and the way morals there is no morals left and the values are gone and nobody cares about their last name and what it means and the ethics out there. It is a scary world. And I told a guy by the name of Wayne Wild in Bemidji, Minnesota, who has a bull sale up there, and he's a very good Christian gentleman. I would idolize the amount of faith that he has. And I told him, my wife and I went there for a bull sale, and I was auctioneering the heifers at the end, and Ty Thompson, world champion, sells the bulls. And I told him, I said, I don't know how many children we really want to have. I said, I'd like to have a lot. I'm a big family. She's got like 7 brothers, and I said, I've got 5 siblings. But with the way this world's going, I don't want to put that curtain. And he goes, if people get people like you that have good religion and have good beliefs and can raise good kids, if you quit having children or just throw the towel in, the world will go to heck.
Absolutely.
And he said you need to have children and instill the values that you had. And so after he said that, I for the last 6 months, or about 6 months after that, I thought about it. And he's right. I am in fear for what my children will have to go through. And I'm sure when my dad and mom had me in '91, when the world was changing quickly, they were probably maybe feared the same way, but nowadays, technology, computers, and cell phones have ruined everything. I mean, it's just it's everybody's so dull anymore because they're on their phones. You see them all the time. You go to a crowd. I think I seen this on Facebook once in 1994 or 5 when the Chicago Bulls won the championship, and Duncan was Michael Jordan was taking a shot. It shows the crowd and everybody's dialed in, looking at the situation, and you look at an athlete these days taking a winning shot, and everybody's got their phones out. Everybody's on their phones.
Yep.
Or if you look in the crowd during the regular game, everybody's on their phones. And I think and I'm guilty of it because they do so much and they can help you. I mean, there's a lot of good to it, don't get me wrong, but these days, young people with a cell phone at a young age, it just ruins you. I mean, it just, in my opinion, and everybody's so entitled, and the phone thing, I mean, I don't know.
Well, even so, I mean, I tell a story. So I grew up in a small community, very small community. And I tell the girls, I have 3 girls, so I tell them of the stories of the fun times that we had, right? And they're like, Dad, you had so much fun. I said, that's because we created our fun. It wasn't given to us, right? I mean, that's what it was about. We didn't have these, so we made our own fun. And now in today's society, this is the fun.
That's all they know.
That's all they know, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's drove us apart. It has. In certain areas, it absolutely has drove us apart. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. Yep. I would agree to that 100%. I don't, like I said, I don't know where things are going. I hope there's major changes one day and people kind of have what we say, they come to Jesus talk and figure things out. But I'm not holding my breath. No. But as long as I live in this area here where it's a good area and there's good morals and good values here in a good state of Missouri, or here in the Midwest,
Sure.
I mean, Western Illinois is a great place to live. Unfortunately, they have a couple big cities that kind of ruin things. But, I mean, there's a lot of good people here in the United States. And this country, I just hope everybody that lives in it can fully understand how lucky they are to live in this country. Even though we may not agree with what's going on in the world and we may be upset, there's a lot of other countries that have freedom, but I mean, we're on a whole other level of how lucky we are. We can wake up and kind of do what we want, and I just hope one day I hope people have a chance to understand. I've been to Nogales and Juarez, Mexico, to the poorest spots in Mexico, and I can tell you that it is. You go down there for a day and you'll realize how fortunate you are here, and you're not entitled. You haven't earned anything.
No,
you got to work for it.
No, and we had a plane that flew over. Every once in a while, we have a plane that flies over, right, and it breaks the speed of sound, so it makes this huge boom. But that's what some of these countries are dealing with every day. So you're absolutely right. We got so much to be thankful for where we are.
Yep.
I mean, especially Missouri, but then even further in the United States. We do.
Yep.
But you had talked a little bit, or you were talking earlier about you have a son, and then what was something with your daughter?
Yeah, she passed away in September 6th. She passed away. My wife and I were in our house, and we were all